Thank you very much. This is a very exciting day, and that's why I came down from Sacramento to be here. It's a small beginning, a few buses, but like many things, it holds promise of something very big and very important. California, we know, is a land of change and innovation, but we ought to also look back to where we came from. This is also a place where huge amounts of oil that has powered our economy has been taken out of the ground. This is the place of the gold rush. This is the place during World War II where tens of thousands of airplanes and other vehicles were made both in Southern California and in Northern California. I was just reading on the plane coming down here that Henry Kaiser could produce a Liberty ship in less than 5 days. The planes that were turned out. America has been an arsenal of democracy. Well, what we did in the past, we're going to do in the future. And there are skeptics out there. There were skeptics in 1940 as well. But because we had leaders like Franklin Roosevelt and creators like Henry Kaiser and the founders of Northrop and Douglas Aviation and Lockheed, great minds that collaborated to build California, build America, and promote democracy. So BYD is a part, now a small part, but a harbinger of great things to come. When you see the sun out there, you see power. And today in California, people are driving more than ever. Last year, people in the 32 million vehicles in California drove 332 billion miles. It's only 93 million miles to the sun. And the only way we're going to reduce our dependency on oil and make our air even more healthful and deal with climate change is to shift to electric vehicles using batteries and powered by the sun itself. This is the great dream. And I just want to commend BYD for building such a dream right here in California. It's going to take enormous investment. I know I don't have to mention that, but I will. We're going to have a high-speed rail coming through this town very soon. And that's also going to be powered by electricity and by the sun and the wind and hydropower and many things that we can't even conceive. So as we look at the problems, and there are plenty of them, BYD has some problems. State of California has problems. LA's got problems. We got all, Washington is a mess, actually, all sorts of problems. But despite all that, there are visionaries that step up and solve them. And that's what I want to do. I feel I'm somewhat renewed myself and recycled. I guess I'm recycled more than renewed. But here we are. And I see Mr. Antonovich, we did start together back in 1969. And, you know, that's good. We need the old, but we also need the new. And BYD is new for California. It's also part of our relationship with China. We're not waiting for Washington. California is building bridges to the People's Republic of China. We have the only memorandum of understanding between a state, the state of California, and the federal government itself in China. So we are building together. And just like pioneers, both in technology and in cars and yes, in regulation, we're able to bring down the pollution in Los Angeles. There are 10 times as many cars with 90% less pollution than there were just a few decades ago. And what happened in Los Angeles can happen in Beijing and Shanghai. That air can be as clean as this air today. But it's going to take electric cars, it's going to take renewable energy and collaboration. And already our Resources Board has native-born Chinese that are working in California and working in China as well. We're building a very powerful partnership right here on the edge of the Pacific. And here we are in Lancaster. What a wonderful day. And I hope to come back in a few years when hundreds, maybe thousands of electric buses are coming off the line. And yes, I'm glad to hear that this Republican village is the renewable energy capital of America. Good. Because this is really not about partisan politics, and I want to mention the renewable energy of AB 32 was signed by a Republican governor. The Clean Air Act was signed by Richard Nixon, a Republican president, and the State Clean Air Act, the Air Resources Board, was set up by Ronald Reagan, a Republican. I happen to be a member of the other party, but that doesn't count. It's not important. What's important is invention and science and imagination and collaboration. And yeah, we got a few problems. We have lots of little burdens and regulations and taxes. But smart people figure out how to make it. And as I always say, you get what you pay for. So living in California is more expensive, but you get so much with it. And so many new things are happening. So this is one of them. And I would like to see in just a few years the same energy that produced the arsenal of democracy and was able to secure the peace for the Pacific. We'll be able to do the same thing in terms of renewable energy, energy independence, and collaboration, China and California, California, and even the rest of the United States, which we're still a part of, but we're the leading part, the biggest part, the richest part, and the most open to China, to investment, and renewable energy. Thank you, BYD. Let's build all of our dreams.
So welcome to the alternative energy capital of the world. We say that with a great deal of pride. We're going to be the first net zero city in the world. And I think it's fitting that the first net zero bus is going to be built here. And what is really exciting to me is that it's a global cooperation with a global partnership that is going to be producing these buses. Think of the impact on the world this bus is going to have. There's millions and millions of buses that are just pouring carbon into the environment, and that 10 years from now will cease to be happening. And it started here. And it started here because, quite frankly, we had great political leadership. We had the governor who, without the governor's help, we would not have opened. And we certainly wouldn't be rolling off the first bus today, and we thank you, Governor, for that. If Senator Feinstein and Senator Boxer had been a huge help in this. Mike Antonovich is the one who came. Where's Mike? Right here. Quit hiding behind the speaker, Mike. It was Mike Antonovich and his wife, Christine, that got the ball rolling with Bill Allen to bring BYD in the first place. This has been a 5-year adventure that I can't tell you how gratifying it is and how proud we are in Lancaster that it started here. And that I think this is just going to be one of many. Look around the area. This is going to be the BYD complex for the United States. And you were here when it started. Thank you.